I was telling everybody that before I figured out that I wasn't streaming, that the most important thing in life is to show up and to do whatever you need to do, regardless of what goes on. It's best if you have some type of consistency, like a streaming schedule or something, to keep it up and etc. But the thing is, for me, I'm trying my best to come on and do whatever I can, and sometimes this application does not permit me to do so. Sometimes it's my body, sometimes it's my house, sometimes whatever. There's a lot of things that get in the way of doing what you want to do. But in order for you to do what you want to do, you have to keep showing up and just keep doing it. If you're online like 20 hours a day, 10 hours a day, it doesn't matter what time you go on, right? As long as you do. So I'm trying my best to go on about 6 to 8 every day. 6 to 8 hours every day in the morning and in the afternoon, in the evening. Because that's when I'm awake the most, and that's what you gotta do. You gotta sacrifice your awake time to do what you need to do and do what you love, because if you really need to be known for it, then you just gotta get yourself out there and do this kind of thing. Alright, so here I am doing whatever I need to do. I started late today, I was explaining earlier, because I woke up late, so I did my errands late, so I did my little workout late. But I'm here and I'm hoping to stream for at least 3 hours, and that would be good for me. At least 3 hours would be around 9 o'clock at night, so let's hope that it'll be good. If I stream that late into the night, I probably shouldn't stream continuously anyway. But I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to do 3 hours right now just because I started so late, and I still have something to do afterwards. So for the sake of efficiency, I would say I'm going to be here for about 2 hours. So that's what I got for y'all today. Today's introduction will include some entertainment news and something that I've been doing. I've been watching lately, just because on my off time, I like to catch up on comedy, on stuff, to really re-educate the mind, re-energize the mind, to really present something funny, because I want to be a funny guy, and I'm trying my best to be a funny guy while being positive, because that's the real difficulty right there. The reason why it's difficult is because a lot of the comedies and stand-up specials and everything that you see are filled with cursing, people making fun of negative things that have happened to them. Great for them, horrible for me, because I'm like, there's a way to do comedy without being all crazy and stuff. And even SNL is starting to be very, very charged with negative energy, negative words and stuff like that. But it's funny. They make light of it because the reason why it's funny is because, hey, bad things happen to me, right? To the people who do it. But they just try their best to make the most out of the situation. And for them, it's pretty much laughing at it and sharing with people. I want to say, hey, the best thing you could do when something bad happens to you is not only be like, hey, blah, blah, but really take steps to try to be nicer in speech, nicer in whatever else in your actions, kinder and more, like, even more heavy duty. Just go out, like, even more productive, even more kind, even more perseverance throughout all the situations that persist. All right, so here's the thing. I've been watching a lot of comedy lately. My mind is off into the gutter every time I see something bad happen. I'm like, well, I guess this is bad, but I don't know what to do with it, right? So I want to say, first off, I do know what to do with it. My brain can process it. I just don't have the way to show everybody yet. And in order for you to show everybody how to navigate through negative time or whatever, you just gotta do it in practice. It's like, well, you fight the good fight, you're gone, and that's it. The other thing that I wanted to point to, though, is if everybody does that, and everybody does that kind of competition, people say that life would be boring because Like, you take out all the fun, the violence, and whatever out of life, and it's not cool, right? And I say, no, that's just not true. Because if you take away all the violence in life, there will still be violence. There would still be drama. It will still be exciting. The difference is you don't need an ample amount of violence to pass the threshold of what's called exciting. People are like, oh, well, I guess bad things happened to me today, and that was pretty bad, and that was it, and that was exciting, right? And that'll be so boring because there'll be people complaining about the smallest things and nothing ever gets done. That's a lie. Because whenever I'm in competition, we always have to build ourselves up. Like, we're the biggest, the best, we're the baddest out there, and we did pretty well. That's all. That's the mentality you got to bring up forth every day, and you got to try to, like, be benevolent when you're doing that. How, do you ask? That's a really tough thing to do because a lot of people will say, oh, if they are that good, they're bound to have some egos and they're bound to say something bad. And I would tell them, in the realm of public speaking, in the realm of anything, where people will use a criteria to judge you, that criteria in and of itself is a fallacy, because when you're being judged by that criteria alone, you have to be judged by the criteria of what it means to be a public speaker, what it means to be a performer, what it means to be anything else rather than just a certain criteria, like how much money they make, or how much money they make, or how efficient they are, or how funny they are. If you could say that, hey, that guy is definitely not funny, he might be in a losing criteria to you, but it doesn't mean that he has universal taste to hit everybody. And that's really the goal here. I'm trying to be universal so I could hit the whole realm of the spectrum. But I know that there are going to be one or two guys and gals out there that I'm not going to be able to fly with. I.e. the people who hate people spouting rainbows from their behinds. Like me, I'm trying to spout rainbows everywhere. You see a whole spectrum of color everywhere? That's what I'm trying to do. You know, so that's what I aim to do. And some people will not like the means or the ends of this path. They would like to not walk it, and they would say that it's not good for society or whatever. But I would say it's good because there are so many things that you can do with your time. Why be a negative impact on society just because you want to be called a social elite and get up there? Like, you are already social elites. Everybody is always into whatever you're doing all the time. So what is the gauge? Do you want money, influence, power, or do you want to be happy within, internally, and understand that that is what's important, because that's what keeps you going? If what keeps you going is external factors like praise, social adaptation, and economy, then go for it. I'm pretty sure you're good at what you do, and you would exploit that, hey, I'm good at the economy because this is what I do. But somewhere down the line of that, I would guarantee that something is amiss there, and that would not be the greatest to have. I.e., you know, whenever somebody does, you always hear about this in the fashion industry, like, oh, I just wanted to build a line and make some money off of the clothes that I love to do because I love to design. Cool story. That might be good. But in order to make millions and millions and millions of dollars, you have to make millions and millions and millions of pieces of clothing, pay out a ton of workers, suppress, you know, their working condition, working rights, and really see how much money you can make out of it. Like, hey, it's good for you to get, like, the ethical worker right here and there. But at the end of the day, business is like cutting costs and corporations and reductions. If you just look at that a little bit, you'll see how many crazy things people do in order to gain some type of social affection, social affiliation, economic recognition. There's a lot of stuff that you do there. And if you want to live a life that is normal, if you want to live a life that is luxurious, you're basically living in a high-class society, right? At a certain point, after you make enough that money, you will never see the money, and you basically live off whatever you want to do. So that's why I think the entertainment industry is really interesting, because those people are at a point where they make enough money to say like, hey, I want to do what I love to do, and this is how I do it. This is my personality. This is my TV personality. And I really love that because whoever does that is the equivalent of saying, I make enough money. I know I don't make as much money as these other folks right here that are like high power, high influence, super loved, socially accepted, but I make enough so I could do whatever I want, so I could show up to work every day. That being said, that is still super competitive because people who are running these type of networks are always looking for the higher price of the economy, high price of everything to get everybody riled up. Like, if you can reach 1 million people, if you can reach 10 million people, you've got a hit. Everybody wants to get that hit. And I would tell them, if everybody wants to get the hit, you're probably sending mixed messages to certain other people. The idea is to be universally accepted and universally praised. Take, for example, Michael Jackson. Even without the help of the internet, social media, and everything before, he became an international superstar. How? He did it the old-fashioned way, through running through country, meeting people, talking to people, and just performing the heck out of whatever songs and training really hard to do it. If anybody could do that now, it'll be amazing. But not a lot of people could do that now. A lot of people rely on the internet to get out there. A lot of people rely on doing whatever it is that they need to do to get out there, social media and everything else around the area to try to get to a global standpoint so they could go on tours and stuff. And I would say the idea of that is very different. You actually have to book places in random areas and random concerts just to say, hey, this is what's going on. And I would say the idea of distributing free stuff that you have is great, because the more stuff that you distribute for free, the more that people can readily consume, and then the more people can integrate your type of speech entertainment within their daily lifestyles. I don't know how many records Michael Jackson sold overseas, but I'm pretty sure that whenever people wanted the record, they'll be like, hey, we got this record. We bought this record legitly, probably copied it a bunch to Asia or whatever, and then everybody was like, oh my god, Michael Jackson's so cool, right? Because you know that stuff happens all the time, and people always want the most bang for their buck. And that's how it operates. And that's why I would say intentionally I'm going this route because everything in life should be free, you know? And I'm offering my services for free, but money does make the world go around. So in essence, if y'all like to support me, that's what you need to do. Just throw some money into my face, and then I'll be able to continue to do this. Like, this is basically the free to play system, but ramped up to be a free to entertain system. And that's what I got for you today. That's the little bit of a lesson. Even though the best things in life are free, there are things that you gotta do to sustain yourself. And in order for you to sustain yourself and, you know, how many other people, your family, you have to put out the sacrifice and put out the work. And sometimes, if you're not able to get it to work, it's probably a change in a different direction. But I've been changing direction so many times and so hard that I'm burned out completely. And I'm hoping that I won't be burned out through this, because this is what I'm passionate about. If you can't even do something that you're passionate about, and you can't, like, not be burned out by it, I don't know where you go in life. I would say that is the definition of finally being handicapped or disabled. Socially, you're crippled socially. So you got to find ways to figure yourself out and do whatever you need to do to survive. Or else you're just going to be adding to a growing population of homeless, and it's not going to be great for you. I hope that that's not what happens to me in the future, because I have some type of skill. I know this. But to be acknowledged and be ratified by everybody, or at least a small part of the population, is what I desire, so I can continue doing my work and bringing you the social implications of what's going on, and have some fun while doing gaming. I mean, I personally love to be a sportscaster, you know, if I can, But the way that I speak and how I do it, how I say certain things, can really reflect on the personality and the character trait of however I portray the game. You don't know if people are going to like that or not, and that's why you're just going to hit your nose to the grind, and hopefully that'll help out along the way someday. In essence, if you need to do what you love to do, just keep on doing it, because it's not that hard to reach 1 million people. If 1% of the 1 million people you reach actually support you, then you'll be able to have, 10,000 supporters? That's good, right? 10,000 supporters will be great. If out of those 10,000 supporters, if you can get some of them to donate or whatever, then it'll be even better for you. So, in essence, what we need to do is normalize all the things that go through the stream and really try to get it out there. And that's my goal, and I haven't reached it. And it's almost been a year. It's gonna be my first year anniversary in about a week, and of me taking it seriously, at least, right? Me trying to put on at least 2 hours a day. And you get nothing back for it because, certain policies change on websites and stuff, and there are no places to store your billions and billions of videos except on if you save them yourself or on YouTube. So that's what I got for y'all. I hope that my work is going to be saved somewhere throughout some time, because when I look back at it in the future, it'd be like, wow, I tried my best to be just not a speck on the world. And, you try to be a bigger speck on the world when you can. But sometimes it doesn't always play out. There are always other issues that are more pressing or somebody is more into than what to look at you and hear your vlog and stuff like that. So that's what I got for you. And because I've been doing so many video commentaries and watching so much comedies lately, just to wrap myself up to be more positive, maybe that's what you need to do to really relax and have a good laugh or two. Because laughter is great, stress is good, it really propels you to do stuff. Just don't be overwhelmed by whatever you dive into. And that's really what I want to say. So in the end, I hope that this wouldn't overwhelm me, and I'll say that it is getting there. The stress level, the work put in versus the outcome of it is not really balancing for me. So I'm hoping that I could just be here and be merry all the time. But that's not life. Life is about struggling and trying to get through and do whatever you need to do. Which is why I say that if there's a way for you to get out half your... I think that's why the prospect of the lottery is so great, right? If you're able to win, I don't know, $5 million, you're set for life. $5 million is not even a lot, right? But you're pretty much set for life wherever you want to go and whatever you need to do. You can invest a lot of that, and then you have some spending money on the side. Pretty much set for life. There's nothing that I can say that would say, wow, that's it. And $5 million to a lot of people is like, wow, look at that money, blah, blah, blah. But that's how much you actually consume. That's actually overconsumption, by the way. If you have $5 million, that's overconsumption in a lifetime. A lot of people can't even fathom that type of number, especially in US dollars. But if you translate to any other place, it'll be like, yeah, money is money, and there would be a lifestyle change to how rich you are or how poor you are. But it doesn't change what's in here. The happiness of the heart and soul. So keep on trying to be happy and keep on trying to be awesome, because eventually one day you'll know that you are happy and you are awesome, and whatever you do, you will be satisfied with, and always just be ready to open the next chapter.